Okay guys, we continue to the next part. In this part, I will explain about self-assessment and learner autonomy, use of assessment information, and message from assessment. For the first, I will explain to you about self-assessment. Self-assessment can help learners to understand more about the language process and to become more independent. Self-assessment have the benefit to self-assessment are easily started, but need some thought as to their applicability for young learner foreign language. There's an example of photocopiable method to assess student progress. You can look this table on page 234. Okay, through self-assessment, learners can understand more about the learning process, and then learners can be motivated towards more involvement in their learning. Teachers can understand more about individual pupils, and then learners will be better prepared to carry on learning beyond the classroom. And the last is a more equal relationship is created between teachers and learners. In figure-taking terms, a pupil who learns to assess his or her own work move from being under-regulated to being self-regulated or autonomous. The self-regulated learners will take over parts of this process and be able to adjust them to suit meaning, style, and preference. It is commonly recognized in today's world that autonomous and self-regulated learners will be at an advantage in continuing to learn and adjust throughout their lives as technology and information develop rapidly and continuously. In the foreign language classroom, the language used to organize such training will probably need to be the mother tongue, and so further decision must be made about the value of the time required and balancing between spending the time on developing learner autonomy or on language learning. In foreign classroom, parallel opportunities may arise when children are giving a public performance such as a short play or presentation around a theme. Okay, next, goal setting. Being able to set realistic and useful goals for one's own language learning is one of the skills of autonomous learners and is part of the cycle that links self-assessment to learning. Even very young children can be helped to set goals for themselves by, for example, choosing 5 words out of 8 to learn at home, and then testing each other as they get older, so the length of the time for which the goals are set can be increased from a few days to a term at a time. At the beginning of the terms, the teacher may explain the goals that she or he has set for everyone, and then ask the children to select further set of goals for themselves from a list of possibilities. Children who need to practice decide they will try to read 4 books in the time. And the next is portfolio. A portfolio is a collection of examples of that, as a collection, reveal both the capability and the progress of learners. If applied to language learning, a portfolio would include such things as samples of writing and list of books read, according to O'Malley and Voldespress, 1996. Portfolio can link assessment with teaching and with metacognitive development role, including pupils in evaluation of performance, thereby developing skills in pupils self-assessment. Pupils are involved in deciding what to include in their portfolio and in assessing or evaluating the piece of work according to clear and explicit criteria. The limitation of portfolio assessment is the application to oral skills development. Being paper-based, it is more suited to collecting written facts. Children can include their self-assessment of oral language, activities, and progress, but it is more complicated to include sample of thought. Perhaps, as computers with CD-ROMs become more accessible, children will be able to build a computer-based portfolio with recorded sample of speech as well as scan in or digitally photographed text. Next is about use of assessment information. There are two points that we will discuss. The first is outcomes of assessment and uses, and the second is making feedback helpful to learners. Use of assessment information. In this part, we need to consider how the outcomes of assessment are used to generate various forms of feedback that can change teaching and learning. The first is outcome of assessment and uses. Summative assessment techniques such as tests, produce outcomes in the form of grades, marks, and rankings of students, but little more quality information that can be used diagnostically. Summative outcomes can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of a course or program, along with other information such as student and teacher evaluating and course documentation. Rankings of students are used for placement purposes, deciding which schools, classes, sets, or groups students will be placed in. Learning this type of assessment purpose aside, we can move to formative assessment that is intent to make a difference teaching and learning. Observation, portfolio, checklist, rating skills, each over information that can be converted into feedback for parents, pupils, and other teaching, and that influence how the next lesson or unit is planned by the language teacher. And then the next is making feedback helpful to learner. Of assessment feedback is to be helpful to learners and improve their learning. It needs to be specific and detailed enough to make a difference, and equally importantly, it needs to be related to target performance or understanding towards which the learner can move. The target performance, which may be present as a list of criteria, a rating scale, or as example of quality performance, offers learners the opportunity to see what they are gaining at. Feedback should also help learners to compare their current performance against the target performance and to close the gap between them. The process in which assessment and feedback can scaffold the learner to better learning. I will explain it. The target performance could be modeled by the teacher, or on video or audio cassette, or by pupils who are at the higher level, such as Murphy and 2000 suggest that near-peer modeling will help move children through their time of proximal development, not just in relation to assessment but more generally in learning language, and not just in terms of the language but also in learning strategies and metacognitive development. For example, in language learning, corrective feedback will be primarily concerned with accuracy, Pupil will be shown a model of the correct responses. The pupil should be allowed to repeat the correct form and should receive some signal that this is now correct. For example, you can read it. There are two examples. I will explain what does it mean, what the meaning of those examples. You notice that in the first example, the teacher didn't help the pupils to do better next time. She just gave an evaluate comment on the performance in the but in the second example, the teacher point out something specific that was good. Okay, we come to the last part. Message from assessment. To conclude this chapter, I want to highlight the ideas that assessment practice not only determine children's futures and how their time is spent, but also carry messages for children about language learning and in life. On the other hand, the teacher knows a child's capabilities, recognizes when she or he is trying, especially hard, and if offers praise and supportive feedback. The child learns that his or her learning matters to the teacher and that it's worth sampling. If all other subjects count for selection, but the foreign language exam does not, the language classes are not likely to be highly motivated. We should be searching out assessment practice that will reinforce the value of this to learners and to their parents. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.